Hey there guys, it's Megan. If you are returning to my channel, then welcome back, and if you are new, then as always, welcome aboard. So this week I'm going to step away from these story time kind of videos for a little while and go back to giving some park tips and tricks. And there's a cat in the way. Can you move? Come here. So this week we're going to not have a story time video. We're instead going to kind of go back to giving some tips and tricks about going to Walt Disney World, and I'm going to talk about some of the best places to take photos. And as usual, I'm going to start with Magic Kingdom as the first park because that's everyone's first day park. So some of the best places that I think that you should take some pictures when you are at Magic Kingdom. So obviously when you go to Magic Kingdom, you're going to take a couple of very obvious pictures. Either you're going to just take pictures of the items, or you're going to want pictures of you or your family in the pictures with these items, but you're going to want pictures at the entrance of Magic Kingdom, the train station, and the Mickey foliage out front. You're definitely going to want a picture there. You're definitely going to want a picture on Main Street with the castle behind you, and then you're going to want a picture of you like with the castle as the main feature of your picture, or just, you know, pictures of the castle itself. So those are obvious. It's also obvious that you're going to want to take pictures with the characters. You know, you're gonna want to go see Mickey and Minnie, and you're gonna want to go see Tinkerbell, Rapunzel, all the princesses. So those are kind of gimme pictures that you're for sure going to want to take no matter what. So I'm going to talk about some that are maybe ones that you wouldn't necessarily automatically think of. None of them are going to be like super hidden spots or anything like that, because there's nowhere really in Magic Kingdom that's like a hidden spot that no one ever goes to. But, you know, some of the ones that you may not think about, especially if it's your first time going there. So I mentioned that you're going to want to take some pictures with and of the castle, but not necessarily just from Main Street. You know, you don't necessarily always want it to be that straight on view. So some of the best places that I think that you can get pictures of the castle are actually right behind it. So you can get like immediately behind it and looking straight up, and that's a really cool shot. Also, if you go off to either one of the sides, if you either take the bridge that's kind of over on the Adventureland Liberty Square kind of side, like if you're going to go towards Liberty Square, but then you kind of veer to the right a little bit at Sleepy Hollow Refreshments, then you're going to take this little pathway that goes up beside the castle, and then it wraps around to the back. There's also one on to the other side where if you were going to go towards like where the teacups are, don't go all the way towards the Tomorrowland side. Don't go all across that bridge. There's one that's a little bit farther in towards the castle. Go across that one. And then you're going to be getting these great angles that are kind of the side view of the castle, and you're not going to have as many people in the way. You're going to have some of those water views down there. There's actually a couple of benches along there, so it's a great place to just sit and have a snack too. But it makes really, really great pictures. And actually a lot of times that's where people take their pictures when they have like their Disney Fairy Tale wedding pictures made in the parks, because it's such a unique shot, and it's not just the one like coming down Main Street with the partner statue in front and everything like that. So it's always nice to have a different angle. So a lot of people like to take pictures outside the Haunted Mansion, and that's really fun spot to take pictures, especially if that's one of your favorite rides, and it's a lot of people's favorite ride, especially among us Disney people. So if you want to get a picture of the Haunted Mansion, I actually recommend that you either go on the Liberty Bell riverboat, or you go over to Tom Sawyer's Island, because then you can kind of get the Haunted Mansion in the background of some pictures from both of those places, and it makes a really cool shot. It's going to be a little bit of a different angle. You can see more of the mansion itself, as opposed to just like that front piece of the facade that you see when you're down in front and you're going, you know, into the queue for Haunted Mansion. On Tom Sawyer's Island, there's also a ton of places where you can take pictures with lots of the greenery, and there's little caves that you can go in, and it's a lot of really unique pictures that don't necessarily scream Disney. So there's a lot of fun pictures that you can take over there aside from getting the Haunted Mansion in the background. So those are definitely ones that I would recommend going on, even if it's just for the Haunted Mansion picture. And while you're over there by Haunted Mansion, I'm sure everyone knows you need to take a picture at the Tangled Toilets, and they do have going on, I think, still at nighttime. They've got the lanterns that you can take the magic picture with. I've not actually been down there while they've been doing that, so I haven't gotten one of those yet, but definitely want to get one of those, and I'm sure that that's on everyone's list. That's kind of up there now with the obvious ones, like the Main Street picture and the entrance picture, is getting a picture with the lanterns from Tangled outside the Tangled Toilets area. But it's also just a really pretty area, so you can get pictures of the tower and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good spot. You wouldn't think to take pictures around the bathrooms, but at Disney you can do that, I guess. Most of the spots that I'm thinking of are actually in Fantasyland, and I guess that's kind of a good thing and kind of makes sense since you're in the Magic Kingdom and everything, you know, Fantasyland is what you would think of. But definitely go into the new area, the new Fantasyland area where they have all of the stuff from Beauty and the Beast, because not only can you take the picture with Gaston and LeFou out front and this little fountain that I absolutely love and adore, you can take pictures with that are really fun, but you can also, if you go into Gaston's Tavern, take a picture in his chair where he does all of his decorating with antlers, and it's great. And it's, you know, especially if you go around a time that's not like a main meal time where people aren't needing the tables and stuff, you can take pictures in there for a while. We went about 11 o'clock in the morning, you know, kind of early in the day, and it was completely empty and we could take pictures for as long as we wanted. It was great. So make sure that you do take a picture in Gaston's chair or in his tavern, and especially out front where he does where the fountain is. And not too far away from Gaston's Tavern is one of my favorite rides. I've mentioned it before. I love the teacups, and you can get some pretty fantastic pictures on the teacups. I'm not going to embarrass my husband or my sister by putting a picture in here, but to get pictures, you know, my family is like very intense on the teacups. We have to spin it as hard and fast as is humanly possible. So you get lots of faces that are like super attractive while people are straining to make the teacups move. If you are not on the teacup, you can also get some good pictures or video of your family who are making themselves seasick on the teacups. But it's really fun because you get the motion in the background. It's just kind of a cool thing if you are into photography and the person in the forefront is kind of still and then the background swirling around and you just see all the colors and everything. It reminds you a lot of Alice in Wonderland, so it's just a fun picture if you like the teacups already. And then one more that is in Fantasyland, and this one is another one that is probably one that you have seen before, is the Sword in the Stone. It's right over by the carousel immediately behind the castle, and you can go over there and you can take pictures. At some point during the day they are going to have usually a child who is the chosen one for the day because they have the strength of King Arthur and they are able to pull that sword out of the stone. So if you can happen by at that time, it's pretty cool to get to see who the super strong kid is every day. But other than that particular time, anyone can go and take a picture with the Sword in the Stone. And you know, you can try as hard as you want to get that thing out. I've never made it move, so clearly I am not the chosen one. So make sure that you check that out right behind the castle in front of the carousel. So obviously the rides that have photos on them, that's always a fun thing to see what the pictures look like when you get done. But my favorite on-ride photo is Space Mountain. I don't know why Space Mountain's on-ride photo is my favorite. There's not a lot of rides at Magic Kingdom that have an on-ride photo, but Space Mountains is always super fun because when you go into the turn, you never actually remember which side the camera is on. At least if you're me, you don't, because there's two different tracks, and depending on which track you're on, the camera's on a different side. And I never remember which side is which. So a lot of times my pictures end up with the camera's over here and I am looking this way. So, I mean, even those pictures can be kind of fun. But if you do happen to remember which side it's on, it's a really easy spot. You know exactly when the camera is going to flash. So it's really easy to go ahead and make a fun pose, which my husband and I, that's how we spend our time in lines, is coming up with what our poses are gonna be for the on-ride photo. So that's always a super, super fun one, and it's one of my favorites. But my actual favorite photo at Magic Kingdom is the Wishing Well. And for some reason, not a lot of people go by it. And I'm not sure if it's just because they don't walk up that pathway or if it's blocked off and they don't ever, I don't know why. But I've never had like a crowd of people up there, and it's one that I always go to. I've taken a picture at this Wishing Well so many times, it's just not even funny. I have a collection of pictures of me at this Wishing Well, and I always take it in the same spot, in the same pose. I don't know why. I never look real happy in the pictures, but I always take a picture at the Wishing Well, and it's always just a super fun picture, and especially with the castle in the background, and it's pretty no matter what time of day. You can do it in broad sunlight, you can do it at nighttime, you can do it when the sun's setting, and it's going to give you a different picture every time, and it's always super, super pretty. So make sure that you head on up to see the Wishing Well. It is on, if you are looking at the castle, it's to the right, and just take the pathway like I mentioned to head towards the teacups, but don't go all the way to the teacups. When you get kind of parallel with the castle, there's going to be another little path that goes up there, and it just goes straight up to the castle. But as you're on your way, there's the Wishing Well, just right over in a little alcove on that pathway. So make sure that you stop by there and get a nice picture with it. So that is it, guys. That is my top list of a couple of photo spots that you may or may not think about when you go to Magic Kingdom. Just kind of my top spots to take photos, either just of the areas or with your families, pictures of you. They're always going to be great because it's Disney pictures. So just make sure that you're checking out a couple of those spots. And if you do take some pictures there, I am Skipper Meaghan, obviously, on Instagram as well. So give me a follow and make sure that you are sharing those pictures if you take some in those places. And if you would like to and you have not already, go ahead and click the little red button down there and subscribe to my channel and become part of the Jungle Crew. That's what I'm calling us now. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.